So Ozzie Albies has been on a tear for the Braves. He's currently on a 6-game hitting streak, and last night he went 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs against Miami. Now tonight he's going up against Sandy Alcantara, who he's had a lot of success against, 7 for 18 with 5 RBIs. So chase or fade, Albies is your favorite bat over 5K, Matt. You said you like to save up for these hitters.
Yeah, this isn't the spot where I'm necessarily looking with the Braves in general. Last night they were facing Braxton Garrett, who is just a much worse pitcher than Alcantara is. Garrett's okay, but Alcantara, I think, is just a much, much higher level starting pitcher. And this is also a really difficult park to hit in Miami. So I don't actually have the numbers in front of me, but I would imagine that a lot of Albies' success when you look at head-to-head stats comes in Atlanta, which is a much more hitter-friendly park. And in Miami, even if he were good against a pitcher over a small sample, you wouldn't expect hitters to have a ton of success in this park because it's one of the more pitching-friendly environments in baseball. So I am looking to pay up for offense tonight and maybe get away from Corbin Burns, but I'm looking to teams more like the Blue Jays in Washington in a good matchup, or maybe the Coors Field game, which could go a little bit overlooked because it's harder to afford these guys tonight without having cheap pitching to choose from. A lot of the pitchers that I think will get most of the ownership are in the 8 to 9, and then obviously 10K range with Corbin Burns. So I think I'd rather play the Blue Jays than the Braves, and then that means I'm probably picking Marcus Semien, maybe guys like Trey Turner over Ozzie Albies, who I think could be a decent play if he's contrarian, but if he's a popular pick tonight, then I don't really want any part of it.
Erik, how do you feel about Albies? He's going to cost you $5,300, so he's not like super expensive.
Yeah, this is a hard fade for me, even though he's been hitting well lately. I actually recommended him yesterday, but that's because he was facing a lefty. One thing I don't look at for these is matchups against individual pitchers. It's just too small of a sample. You'd have to get a guy facing a pitcher like 600 times before we really start to care. And by the time somebody's had a career long enough to face a guy that many times, he's not the hitter he was at the start of that sample. So I just don't find those to be very useful. Something like handedness stats matters way more. And with Albies, for his career, he's got the same WRC plus as Aaron Judge when he faces lefties, and he's got the same WRC plus as Kevin Kiermaier when he faces righties. I'm not paying up over $5,000 for Kevin Kiermaier, even if he's been hot lately. A guy in a similar price range I like a lot more would be Max Muncy, just having a fantastic year. Cut his strikeout rate, which is maybe his main issue in years past. It was 25.8% over his previous 3 years with the Dodgers. It's down to 17.9% this year. Hasn't sacrificed any power to get there. He's got the 5th highest barrel rate in the league, right between Aaron Judge and Miguel Sano. He's got a great matchup too against Will Crowe, who's got an ERA that starts with a 5. So if I'm paying in that range, Muncy's a guy I like a whole lot more than Albies tonight.
All right, Nick, how do we feel about this? You just don't like this matchup either? Is it going to be a hard fade for you?
Yeah, well, the thing is, too, Alcantara's coming off, he's had 2 good starts in his last 3. I know there was one in the middle there that was pretty brutal, but he's been good, and I respect the matchup, but if we're talking about matchups against, history against certain pitchers, Joey Votto is the number 1 guy for me tonight at over 5K. He's 13 for 34 against Kyle Hendricks throughout his career, and he's got 4 home runs and 3 doubles against him, 14 walks mixed in that as well. And over his last 10 games, too, he's got 4 home runs, 3 doubles, 12 RBI. So this is a guy part of a hot lineup right now, and against a pitcher that the Reds have done well against in general, but nobody more so than Joey Votto. I feel like this is the number 1 pitcher-hitter matchup in favor of a hitter tonight. So this is the guy that I would be going with over 5K.